Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering how much can you make from writing a book. As it turns out, you can make a lot of things and a lot of money from writing a book, but it probably won't happen if you rush and just slap something together. By the end of this video, you will learn how six-figure revenue from a book is possible and what you can do to ensure that your book helps you accomplish your goals. And stay tuned until the end of the video for an opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. When I think about what you can make from a book, I think about opportunity. I think about doors opening. Money's one of them, sure. It's great to get revenue for your book. It's great to make money. But there's so many other things that you can make. You know, if you think about building a business, you think about creating a model, creating something different, you know, building something where it didn't exist before. You're building a structure. You're building something special. Focus on that. Focus on what you want to accomplish with this book. And if you take the right steps, you can get there. It's obviously about being reasonable and being realistic, but at the same time, there's so many things that can happen. There's so many doors that can open from writing a book if you do it the right way. And by right way, I think it's important to clarify that too. You know, a lot of times when people think about publishing a book and getting outcomes, they think about slapping something together. They think about using ChatGPT or large language models to come up with the book writing. And I am a big critic against that. Please do not do that. It's a bad idea. There's copyright and plagiarism issues, sure. But more than that, think about that text that it's based on. Think about the fact that these AI models are using text from other places, the collective writing of the universe, to create these responses, to create the text that comes out when you put in a prompt in ChatGPT or another program. The text that comes out is based on everybody else's collective responses. It's based on everybody else's stories. When you want to have a unique book that helps you accomplish a goal, that helps you get to the next level, it needs to be unique and different in order to see the full value come out. If you write a book that sounds like everybody else, you're going to diminish your rewards and impact. You know, I've worked with authors who have rushed forward to publish a book that wasn't that good. And you know what happened? Nothing happened. They put a book on Amazon, it just finished. It was there and just sat there. No one bought it, no one read it, no one reviewed it. You know, maybe they had 2 or 3 reviews after a couple years. And I'm always like disappointed by that. You know, what the opportunity was. There was so much opportunity if the right process is taken, if the right effort's made. You know, it's not about just putting together a book and publishing and you're just going to have all these results. That's not this at all. You know, this is really about inspiring and motivating people, and it's about personal transformation to create the future that you want to see for yourself. If revenue is your goal with a book, you need to think about the other things that your book can drive people to do. What action do you want the reader to take when they're done reading the book? Do you want them to sign up to be a client of yours? Do you want to put them into a course? Do you want to have them pay you money to do something else, to render some services? The best revenue drivers from books are typically high-value engagements and speaking opportunities. And both these things are great. They go hand in hand with book writing. And the clients I've worked with, the authors I've worked with as a book ghostwriter, have seen so much opportunity come from their book. You know, a reader reads their book, they get inspired. I was moved by this changed my view. I really wanted to connect with you and work together and pay you money to help me take this transformation myself. It's such an awesome thing. You know, I have clients of mine 2 and 3 years down the road after we published the book together, and they'll reach out to me and say, oh, I just signed up somebody else. They read the book and loved it, and they just paid me $75,000 for a full year of support. That's huge. To have that happen multiple times shows me the opportunity that exists from book writing. That if you do it the right way, and if you have these high-value outcomes, that you could find great success. At the same time, I've worked with authors who have lost tens of thousands of dollars on writing their book. They spent money on ghostwriting support or writing coaching support and editing and layout and design and promotion and marketing. and it all added up, and they didn't get the outcome they wanted. Most of the times they were focused on selling as many books as possible. They were thinking about volume. They were thinking about having this huge impact, which is the default with books. I've been there too. You publish a book and you think, I want to sell as many copies as I can. And then what? What happens next? Nothing, you know? It's disappointing, it's frustrating, but if there's no next step, people aren't going to take that next step. If you don't give it to them and show it to them and map out exactly what that looks like, there's no next step. You know, it's great to say that you published a book, and that's not to diminish people who simply want to publish a book and don't want to make money off of it, that aren't focused on revenue, aren't focused on ROI, aren't focused on sales funnels. They simply want to write a book. Awesome. I've done that too. It's such an empowering thing. Like, I'm not diminishing that in any way. I love working on like family legacy projects that might only have a couple dozen readers, but the people I work with want to have these stories preserved, and those stories matter. I love that. At the same time, if you're interested in revenue and you're interested in financial opportunities from your book, you need to connect the dots, you need to connect the pieces, and offer services that are going to help the reader take the next step in that journey. And if you don't do that, there's missed opportunity for revenue. When authors I worked with have focused on sales volume and book sales, they're always disappointed because you're never selling as many copies as you want to. When you're focused on sales volume and you're focused on selling as many copies of your book as possible as the main metric, you're often going to be disappointed because books these days sell fewer and fewer copies. There's so many books out there. It's a busy time. A lot of people don't have time to buy books and read them. So you're really focused instead on making the most with the people who do read the book. The readers who are invested and interested in the book, you want to connect with them as deeply as possible. It's a quality versus quantity thing. And I think the old view of books was quantity. You're going to sell as many copies as you can. It's a different process now. It's a different world. With social media, with YouTube, with speaking engagements, with other opportunities, with interview requests, with the ability to remake your potential. There's so many things that you can do yourself to build your brand and your message and strengthen it. But if you focus just on book sales and number of quantities sold, it's going to fall short, you know, because all these other things aren't going to be maximized. All these other things you're not going to reach the potential for, you know. You're basically giving away these other things and saying, I just want volume. Volume is only going to give you $5, $7, $3, $10 per copy of your book sold. So you can make a lot more money from connecting with 1, 2, 3, 5 customers and getting them to pay for higher quality services than you can from selling a bunch of copies of your book. I know of authors who've spent tens of thousands of dollars on book promotion and book marketing opportunities when their book was released to become bestsellers. There are national bestseller programs where basically you'll pay money to have an email blast sent to thousands of people, and those people will be instructed to use a gift card to buy your book on Amazon on a specific window of time. And from that window of time, you can generate enough sales to become a bestseller. It's exciting to say you're a bestseller, but at the end of the day, the people who are buying your book aren't reading it, a lot of them. So these bestseller programs, beyond being kind of scammy, they're kind of diminishing the purpose of this whole thing, which is to connect with people more deeply. You know, if your goal is to connect with people on a deep level, having people buy copies of the book from a gift card and then never reading it, it really doesn't accomplish your goal, does it? It's just empty sales. It's, you know, wasted effort. I think instead of doing that, I think you're better suited to make the most of the connections you have built and look for opportunities within them. I know there's a lot to consider with book writing and bringing your book forward. And one thing that you should keep in mind is that a lot of the books that have been written and published, especially successful ones, involve a lot of people behind the scenes, a lot of help. You know, these aren't just authors, you know, doing this themselves. They have people behind the scenes that can help. One role you want to keep in mind is book ghostwriting. That's what I do for a career. And what it means is that I meet with authors, I help them tell their stories, I help to bring out the value in their program and services. I help them connect the dots between the book and the next steps and the call to action and bring everything together. It's certainly possible to do that yourself. You know, if you have some skills in marketing and sales, you might be able to pull that off. But there's so many things to keep in mind with books that are unique and different that you want to be able to collaborate with people who know this space and who have expertise. You know, it's a big learning curve, and there's a lot to learn. It can make it a lot easier when you work with high quality, you know, really established professionals to guide you along the way, because otherwise it can be easy to get lost and to have diminished impact for your book. If you want to learn more about how much can you make from writing a book, I'd love for you to check out my website. It's goodghostwriter.com. There you can book a one-on-one strategy call with me. I would love to connect with you. I'd love to hear more about your book, the challenges and opportunities you're facing, what you want to accomplish with the book, and maybe I can give you some insight and guidance to help you on your way. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.